Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming to listen to my presentation. And in front of you, you should have a PowerPoint as well as a few handouts for us to go through to kind of help you understand a little bit better, okay? Are we ready to begin? Okay. If you go to the next page. Okay, the first slide you'll see is just the simple definition, which is it's a comprehensive school improvement, accountability, and communication platform for all stakeholders that will promote college and career readiness for all Georgia public school students, okay? The Ccrpi was started in Georgia, I think in 2012, and every year it appears to get better in terms of changes being made to make sure that the students are indeed achieving, okay? So what I decided to do is, it's a lot of information, okay? So I had to figure out a way to make it as simple as possible, because this is probably some of you guys' first full experience with even getting this type of information. Can it, raise of hands, have you guys been given information on the Ccrpi before? Yeah? Yes, a little. Okay. All right. All right, so what I did was I broke down the components of the Ccrpi, okay? They're broken down into sections. And they look like tabs. If you go to the georgiadoe.org, you will see them across the screen as tabs. And we may be able to go through that if we have enough time so you guys can kind of see what they look like. So the first component is sum of achievement, okay? And the sum of achievement encompasses content mastery, post-elementary school readiness, and predictor for high school graduation. They are a little different based on elementary, middle, and high school. They're named a little bit different, but for the most part, they're all pretty much the same in terms of the titles and what they're looking for. The next section is progress, and then we have achievement gap. Then the next section is economically disadvantaged / English learners / students with disabilities. And so you'll also see where it says challenge points in the percentage, in the parentheses, excuse me. These are additional points, okay? So these don't go into the full, you know, what we expect from schools. This is extra if they're able to meet some of those standards within there. Exceeding the bar is the other portion of challenge points. And together, the maximum a school can earn from those two areas is 10 points. Okay, and we'll break that down some more. And then the next one is financial efficiency rating and school climate rating. Also, these are a part of the Ccrpi, but they're kind of, well, not even kind of, they are ways for the schools to get information to assist them with doing a better job with the overall climate and spending money, but they're not a part of the actual school. Okay, they're additional as well. All right, so here's the component, okay? They all have a weight. And what happened is I decided to use the 2014 Ccrpi information. However, we're already in 2015, and that information is still at the schools. But I wanted to show you the comparison and how they've already changed. So the previous weights for achievement, you'll see, was 60% for 2014. 2015, they reduced it to 50%, so it's only worth 50%. Then you have that content mastery we talked about, the post-readiness, and the graduation rate. Okay? And so those numbers are still the same at 40 and 30%, as well as graduation rate at 30. Progress for 2014 was 25%. For 2015, it's 40%. So that's quite a bit of an upgrade there. And through my research, I read that number was changed because the state wants to show the schools that they're recognizing that they're making progress, and we just want to add a little bit more weight to, hey, you guys are really doing some awesome things at this school, so we want to add more weight to the progress, okay? And so the achievement gap was taken from 15 to 10% for 2015. So those are your numbers right there, and you see where that difference came from. So it came out of achievement, and it came out of achievement gap, okay, to make that 40% for progress. Let me know if I'm talking too fast. I know sometimes I get it. All right, so now we're at the indicators, okay? And I decided to go backwards, so I entered in the information for 2015 first to go back to in 2014 is where we are. I wanted to go backwards, okay? So if you would pull out your worksheets here, we're going to briefly go through them, okay? It's bigger, so it's easier for you to see. So let's look at the 2015 first. The state releases every year indicators, of course, for the year that's coming up, okay? And so it looks like this. And so it explains to you that from your screen you can see the difference between the black and the green, of course, okay? and it states that the green will be benchmarked at 95, at the 95th percentile based on state level data. So that would be on your screen number 5, number 6, and number 10. Okay, so those were the only indicators on this page that will not be benchmarked at 100%. Okay, and it also explicitly states that the middle school and elementary indicator number 6, which is our area, will be benchmarked at 65%. Okay, so we all see that, correct? All right. All right, so, and then the next one, yeah. And so you'll just see the second page is actually what's on the PowerPoint, but I just wanted you guys to see this and take away with you, okay? So let's go ahead and jump. I hate to have you keep jumping, but if you go to the 2014 Ccrpi indicators in your hand, okay, and I'm going to talk about the differences there. Once again, the ones in black are 100%. The ones in green are at the 95th percentile, and once again, for number 7, which is students with disabilities, we're benchmarked at 65%. Okay, and I wanted to show you the difference, and I'll show you, you can just kind of look at me for the difference. For 2014, 2015, we went from 5 indicators in content mastery in 2014 to 4 in 2015. And the area that was changed was they took away the reading piece, okay? So not only did they take away reading, we're looking at the Georgia milestone testing information as opposed to the CRCT, okay? So that's another bit of information. And that EOG you see there is end of grade. I know we don't really sometimes deal with that as much, but that's end of grade. And so we have the 4 for 2015, and we have 5 for 2014, okay? Also for 2015, at the bottom of the content mastery, it gives you information about the weights for the learners, okay? So they're weighted at 0.5 for developing learners, 1.0 for proficient learners, and 1.5 for distinguished. We do not score for the developing learners, okay? So we're only looking at proficient and distinguished when in terms of getting that weight and getting those numbers, okay? If you go down to your post-elementary school readiness for 2014, 2015, once again you'll see a few differences, and the only difference here is, well, more differences, but there are fewer, they went from student attendance rate percentage to percent of students missing fewer than 6 days of school. So they became a little bit more specific, because I know it's probably really difficult for those schools to really keep up with attendance overall, and you kind of got to give them some days to be absent, right? But if they're not there, they're not learning. Okay. Also, if you would look at the difference is you have that piece of milestones versus the CRCT, but the Lexile numbers have also changed. Okay. For the, well, they didn't change for 3rd grade, it's 650. For 8th grade, it is 850. Okay? And then also something that I was reading that I thought I wanted to share with you guys. Number 9 on 2015, it talks about the Georgia 17 career clusters. I was wondering, because of what we do, what is a career cluster? It's a whole lot of information for someone to take in, but they actually put kids on these clusters to kind of see what track they want to go in for after school. So when they leave school, there are a lot. So if you go to the Georgia website, Georgia DOE website, you can find out what is available for those students, okay? All right, and then for the predictor for high school, 2014 we have 2, 2015 we only have 1, okay? And the one that was taken away was the number 13, which was the percentage of students passing at least 5 in core contents, okay? And those were 5th graders. Okay, so I know it's a lot. Ooh, I can breathe. All right, and so what I decided to do is just to break it down, to explain to you how they're calculated. It's pretty simple once you really look at it, and I wanted to start with achievement since that's the first area. Okay, achievement is broken down by content mastery, post-elementary school readiness, and predictor for high school graduation. So if you move on to the achievement content mastery slide, that's the next one. Okay, the weight once again is 40%, okay? Where did they get that data from? From all the indicators, okay? So for 2014, how many did we have? We had 5, okay? So, and then that's the calculation method, but I wanted to kind of put it on that slide for you to see, but I'm going to go to a snapshot of it and just tell you exactly how it's done. Okay, ooh, that looks small there. So go to the next one, the snapshot. All right, so what happens is that there's that 100% for indicator, okay? There's one tab over that says the performance. So the performance, let's say for ELA was 81.6, and the possible points for an indicator is 10. Okay, and you can just see they translated it into a decimal, and they just moved it over, and it's 8.2 are the points that they earned for that one. Okay, and as you go down, that's what they do for all of those assessment areas. Okay, and so the total possible is 50, and the points earned is 38.3. And so those are divided by one another, and you get 0.766. Okay, and then you just multiply that by the 40%, and you'll get that weighted score of 0.3064. Okay? Does that make sense? Am I talking too fast?
Yes, no, that makes sense.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So, and I'm going to kind of go through these a little bit quicker, but it does that for every single section for the achievement section. So that weight is 30. We're looking at those indicators in that section, which were 7 of them, and that's where we got our information. And this is the same thing for the snapshot. Same situation. And of course you'll see that some performance areas have to be adjusted, and when they are, then you'll get usually a higher percentage. Okay? And let's go on to the next one. Predictor for high school graduation, same thing. That's still our weight is 40% for the entire section. Okay? I'm just kind of moving through these a little bit faster because they're all pretty much the same. You can kind of see how they are calculated to get that information. And so let's stop here at the high school graduation predictor. You'll see they added all of those weighted performances together. Content mastery, post-high school, and graduation rate. And then they multiply them by what? 60, because that's the entire percentage weight for the entire section, which is the achievement area. And then they get 36.7. So that will be the amount of points that they get for the achievement on the Ccrpi. So that number you will actually see on their report on the GADOE, that 36.7. So we're done with that first tab. Does it make sense? Am I going too fast, Miss Cynthia? Thank you. Okay, so now we move on to progress. Once again, these are all tabs on the report that you'll see when you're looking at the report. And this one honestly was a little bit difficult for me to figure out, this whole student growth profile thing, percentile thing, and so I added the calculation method there, and it's a lot of information, I realized, looking at it, so we're not going to go into it. I'm not going to read you that paragraph. We're just going to go into it so I can explain to you what it really means. Okay? All right. Georgia's student growth model. Okay? It's a model that was adopted by Georgia, I think a few years ago. I'm not sure the exact number. However, it utilizes student growth percentiles, which to get the information which describes students' academic progress relative to academically similar students, which are other students from across Georgia with the same achievement history. So what that means is if Johnny scores a 790 and Jenny scores a 790, they become academic peers. So what this model looks at is how they perform the next year. Are they together or not? So if he's showing progress and she's not, and they're academic peers, Jenny automatically is showing low growth, whereas he's showing high growth. I also read while doing some research is that some students will perform great on the test, but they're still showing low growth. They were expected to still show a certain amount of growth, and they didn't. So this looks at that. So yeah, he's doing okay, but he met or exceeded, but he still showed low growth compared to his peers. Does that make sense?
Is this how they get that progress percentage?
Mm-hmm. That's, yeah. And so, and then I also read that, and that some students will, this helps us figure out, okay, how can we help this student? Because some students will score so high that there doesn't really show any room for growth. But something else I read, which makes a lot of sense, is, okay, if he scored at the highest he could score, and he did the same thing next year, it doesn't show growth. However, it shows that he's still achieving high because he still learned new content, but he's still staying where he is. So because they're expected to make that growth, but we have to understand that they are, we have to understand that they're still expected to make that growth, even though there's new content there.